begin in Mauritania, which says it's begun deporting undocumented migrants back to their home countries, a move that has drawn strong opposition from both migrants and human rights organizations. So, why is it happening? Now, Mauritania is a 5 million strong nation that has kept an open-door refugee policy for decades, hosting a growing number of people fleeing rising attacks by armed groups, climate emergencies, and economic migrants heading to Europe by sea. Now, let's take a closer look at where they are coming from. The latest UNHCR data shows that nearly 170,000 refugees and asylum seekers in the country are mostly from Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Central African Republic, and Syria. A further 97% are from neighboring Mali who find their way to the Mbera camp in the Hod al-Shargi region. More than 117,000 people have registered as refugees at the Mbera camp, with the second highest number, just over 13,000, in the Mauritanian capital of Nouakchott. But the government has defended the deportation of undocumented migrants, saying it's dismantling smuggling gangs and managing migration. It says in 2022, only 5% of the 130,000 people who entered the country applied for legal residence. A year ago, Mauritania signed a migration deal with the European Union worth $227 million to manage the rise in undocumented migration to the Canary Islands. But there was a public backlash against the deal because of perceptions that the country was becoming Europe's de facto border guard, along with fears that it would be an alternative home for failed EU migrants. Now let's hear more from Sidi Lamine Bagayoko. He's a research and associate professor at the University of Bamako in Mali's capital. Thank you for joining us here on Africa Matters. Let's get straight into it now. You know, about 90% of refugees in Mauritania are from Mali. Now, has this traditionally been the case, and how are the latest deportations being viewed there?
Yeah, it has always been the case because we have to remind you that even before the case of refugees which started to be high in 2012, and even before that, there were several Malians living in Mauritania, doing, for example, normal job in the houses, working in the farms, working also in the factories. But most of the young going to Mauritania right now are trying to reach Europe. Beside the fact that the refugees, most of the refugees left Mali from 2012 to now, they left because of the conflict going on in the northern part and in the center of Mali. But the case of deportation to come back in Mali is something new and is something really worrying for the Malian authorities, not only, but also for the Malian population, because it's like a kind of a shared situation. We have, and we used to have all the time, several Mauritanians living in Mali normally. They are, for example, shopkeepers. Most of them, 99% of them are shopkeepers, for example, in Mali. That's why we have a very good relationship with the Mauritanian in that case. But with the huge number of Malian refugees being in Mauritania right now, plus the number of Malian which were inside Mauritania before, like normal workers, okay, it has become a kind of problem between those countries right nowadays.
So based on what you're saying, what is Mali doing to tackle insecurity and create jobs in areas where people are fleeing from?
Mali are fighting since several years to try to recuperate some part of its territory, the northern part of this territory. Mali have been successful in that, for example, mainly in the urban region. For example, the big region like Gao, Timbuktu, Kidal are now Malian, we can say that. But still, there are conflicts going on in the rural areas. And because of this conflict, as you know, towns and villages, population are flying from their villages. And as Mauritania is one of the bordering country of Mali, they are going over there, and the number is increasing and increasing every year. And what the Malian government has been doing since now is to go to talk to the Mauritanian authorities to try to think specially to have a particular view on the Malian population in order to avoid escalating crisis between those two countries. Because, you know, at the border between Mauritania and Mali, the Malian population are very angry now against Mauritania, because all the time they are seeing people coming back by the frontier, getting inside Mali. And this is not normal for them, because they think that Mali and Mauritania, they are like brothers since years, since centuries, and we have to continue to live together. It is not because of hundreds of refugees being in Mauritania now is going to have a conflict between the two countries. If we know that we have already the problem with terrorism, we have problem with armed conflict, we have problem, with all that.
All right. So now, what is the best way to manage migration so that it both addresses Mauritania's public concern and also uphold the rights of undocumented migrants?
Yeah, it's really complicated, because Mali and Mauritania, both of those countries, if you ask them, the authorities, in off, not in off, they will tell you that we have some other issue which are very, very, very priority for the country. For example, the thing of security for Mali and Mauritania also, both of them, and the issue of food. For example, you know, those countries have known those last years the food insecurity. This is another issue. Mm-hmm. That's why this problem of migration is a small problem, and the Mauritania is not reacting against the refugees, the normal refugees, which are registered by UN, for example, as refugees. But the main problem, as I told you at the beginning of this interview, mm-hmm. is the fact that the majority of the people, the Mauritanian authorities are sending back to Mali are youth, and those youth are looking to go to Europe through the ships they have in Mauritania, between Mauritania and other Nouakchott and other cities of Mauritania, right, to Spain, for example. And this is a big problem. To right. tackle that, the Mauritania authorities have to be conscious about that. And the Malian authorities have also to be conscious about that. And they have to tackle this in Mali. They have to tackle this in the border between Mauritania and Mali. Because right. most of the time, the refugees, they come in group. But the people going, for example, to Spain, they come individually. And right. they have money in most of the time.
Thank you for talking to us here on Africa Matters. He is a research and associate professor at the University of Bamako in Mali's capital. Now, the ongoing battle for territory and resources in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is not only compounding a humanitarian crisis, but it's also hurting cross-border trade. Now, small business owners and truck drivers in Kigali say supply chains have become disrupted. Diana Iriza finds out how they are coping.
This food market in Kigali has long been a cornerstone of the local economy. And for years, the neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo has offered vendors like Lilian Murerwa a steady stream of income for their small businesses, but not so much these days.
Before the conflict escalated, we could send our goods to DRC with relative ease. But now, with the tensions going on in Congo, I've had to cancel a number of orders. And it's costing me more to find new customers here in Rwanda, who don't always buy as much as the DRC market did.
Truck drivers also rely on cross-border trade between Rwanda and the DRC, which has been disrupted by frequent armed clashes and security threats such as ambushes, kidnappings, and roadblocks.
The situation has changed completely. We used to cross the border with a sense of normalcy, but now you don't know if you'll make it through safely. The roads are dangerous, and many drivers are too scared to even take the job.
Rwanda's official statistics show that trade with the DRC was worth more than $240 million in the third quarter of last year, and goods included mineral fuels, food, and live animals. Major donors, the United Kingdom and the International Monetary Fund, have expressed concerns over the financial impact of the extended crisis. The IMF has said that the extended conflict between the two countries and the sanctions on Rwanda could potentially further strain the economy of the country. The United Kingdom has also cautioned that over $1 billion in aid could be at risk.
War has significant impacts on the economy, politics, diplomacy, and the population, as seen in Rwanda's defense strategy involving military equipment, mobilization, and broader security with Congo, all of which require a substantial budget and affect the economy. Congo has also implemented border restrictions and disrupt cross-border trade.
In the end, both Lilian and Eric are waiting, hoping that peace and stability will return in the region soon. Diana Iriza, Africa Matters, Kigali, Rwanda.
To Congo-Brazzaville now, where waste collection and recycling are major challenges. But a group of young people are using plastic waste as a weapon against pollution and paving a brighter future, as Brice Kenhu reports.
In Pointe-Noire, the economical capital of Congo-Brazzaville, Henri Diele and his team, from the startup Congo Plast, collects plastic and glass waste from homes, schools, and businesses. They are both clean up the environment as well as recycling waste into useful products. They clean the plastics, compress and mix with sand and crush the glass to produce paving stones and bricks.
When I started Congo Plast, it wasn't just to address the environmental pollution caused by plastics, but also to find a solution for the potholes in Pointe-Noire's roads, which are a significant issue. We designed special ties that can replace tar. While penetrating the public market is challenging, our main customers for now are private individuals.
Congo Plast is currently recycling 2 tons of waste every month. The company plans to scale up recycling to 5 or even 10 tons monthly and produce raw materials that can be used to make other items like tables and benches. In the meantime, DLA claims that the paving stone and bricks made from plastic waste are better. But it hasn't always been easy to convince new customers.
I found out about Congo Plast through a friend. I was looking for a paving stone manufacturer and she told me about a company making pavers from plastic waste. I was skeptical at first and wondered how it was possible, but when I visited, they showed me the process and I was impressed. The pavers I purchased were economical and environmentally friendly.
Official figures show that Congo-Brazzaville produces about 350,000 tons of waste every year, and less than 50,000 of that is recycled. Since its launch, the recycling company has won several domestic and international awards, including 8 trophies, and was named Startup of the Year 2024 in a national competition, recognizing the best innovative projects that have been operating for less than 3 years. Brice Kenwu, Africa Matters, Pointe-Noire, Republic of Congo.
To Nigeria now, where Nigeria's relationship with the cryptocurrency has been turbulent, marked by shifting regulations that have created uncertainty for businesses and investors for years. Now, in 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria issued a controversial directive prohibiting banks from facilitating crypto transactions. Now, authorities are revising these regulations so that trading companies can start paying income tax. The move aims to boost government revenue, enhance oversight, and identify offenders. Timothy Obiezu reports from Abuja.
Years ago, Rachel Benson worked as a ticketing officer, earning just $23 a month. Today, she's her own boss, running a charcoal export business while raising a family. She says it all started in 2020 when she sold a cryptocurrency she had acquired.
I bought Shiba of 80,000 that I sold at the rate of $5,000 within 24 hours. And I become mad. Crypto have changed my life today. Today I'm a founder. Today I have people I employ. Today I have people in my factory.
Now, Benson shares her success story at free blockchain classes for women, a program run by the nonprofit First Triumph Development Foundation in partnership with blockchain educator Janet Cartier.
For many here, the pursuit of financial freedom is the main reason for embracing cryptocurrencies.
Nigeria is Africa's largest cryptocurrency economy and ranks second globally in the Crypto Adoption Index, according to Chainalysis. Factors like a large unbanked population, inflation, and a search for financial security have fueled this rapid adoption. In 2021, only 49% of adults in sub-Saharan Africa had a bank account, according to the World Bank. But Nigerian authorities warned that without proper regulations, this swift adoption could pose serious risks to the economy.
The Commission is aware that fraudsters are now hiding under the ingenuity of cryptocurrency, to commit all manner of crimes.
Last month, Nigeria announced amendments to digital asset regulations, introducing taxes on cryptocurrency trading to boost government revenue and formalize the sector. Authorities have also filed a lawsuit against Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, seeking $79.5 billion in economic damages and $2 billion in back taxes over a 2-year period.
If the Nigerian government had positioned itself, every activity that is happening on the blockchain around the country would have been happening on the Nigerian blockchain. But because why? A lot of billions, millions are being made in Nigeria today, and Nigeria is not getting 1% of it.
What we are saying is that it is a new development in our economy. And by and by, we are getting used to some of the technicalities and all of the operations that are involved in this type of a business. But like any other business, there are laws.
The government is also proposing a new law requiring crypto promoters to register locally by June this year. Yet, many here see this as a shift from previous restrictive policies to ones that recognize the growing role of digital assets in Nigeria's economy. Timothy Obiezu, Africa Matters, Abuja, Nigeria.
Now, they only have 800 doctors to treat the country's 8 million people. And in recent years, many health professionals have left the country for better opportunities abroad. Hospitals are overwhelmed with doctors forced to work long hours while patients wait for days to be treated. Suleiman Bari reports from the capital, Freetown.
Sierra Leone has fewer than 800 doctors for over 8 million people, far below the WHO's 1 to 600 doctor-to-patient ratio. This mother, who wants to remain anonymous, so we are calling her Aminata, has spent over a week in Freetown seeking care for her sick twins.
This is because there are not many specialized medical professionals in provinces. One of my children has a swollen stomach, and I had no choice but to travel.
Many here have to travel for more than 100 kilometers, from provincial areas to bigger towns to get to hospitals. For many Sierra Leoneans, accessing healthcare is a constant struggle. Long waiting times, overstretched hospitals, and a severe shortage of doctors and medical staff make it difficult for patients to get the necessary care. Doctors here have heavy workloads, with some seeing up to 60 to 70 patients per day.
As junior doctors, we face burnt out and we face emotional, mental issues in terms of work overload in the hospitals. I remember doing 72-hour calls, having to see emergency cases, attend to critical patients at ICU and the emergency ward.
A recent study on physicians turnover by a local doctor found that 70% of doctors want to leave the country due to poor working conditions and a lack of essential equipment. With an average salary of less than $400 per month, many also struggle to sustain a decent livelihood.
The conditions or service of doctors in Sierra Leone is still far from what is desired. And that is one of the main reasons why doctors feel that they should leave for the so-called living for greener pastures. Working as a doctor in Sierra Leone happens under very stringent conditions. Most times you will not have the equipment that you need. Most of the time you do not have the diagnostic facilities that you need to treat your patients.
The health ministry estimates that about 5,000 doctors are needed, yet only less than a fifth are currently practicing nationwide. He says the government has plans in place to address the crisis in the long term.
We are looking at developing a retention plan for the ministry through the Human Resource Office so that we have a proper plan as to how we can retain doctors. The government and the ministry is doing its best to ensure that the welfare of doctors is catered for, supporting them in their training programs, supporting them in their undergraduate level, and providing the necessary infrastructure that they need so that at least when they go to work, they will feel good in their workplace.
The healthcare crisis in Sierra Leone may have no quick fix, but for medical staff and the millions relying on them for care, the changes cannot come soon enough. Suleiman Bari, Africa Matters, Freetown, Sierra Leone.
Well, change is in the air in Senegal's capital, Dakar, where 60% of the city's streets are named after French colonial figures. But a government plan to replace them with names celebrating the country's rich indigenous heritage. One street sign at a time is sparking debate, as Memunaba reports.
Senegalese activist Abdelaziz Ndao, member of FRAP, a pan-African anti-imperialist group, is challenging the lasting impact of colonialism in his country. He is campaigning to rename the street in Dakar Plateau, the heart of the capital.
These names represent a painful past that doesn't belong to us. We refuse to honor those who were part of colonization, who helped keep Africa oppressed, and who were responsible for the assassination of our leaders. We need to celebrate the true heroes who fought for our freedom, who shaped our identity, and who truly cared about our future.
In December 2024, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye announced that many street names would be changed. Streets that once honored colonizers are now being renamed after Senegalese heroes, including leaders who fought for independence and shaped the nation.
I am glad to see progress with these changes. Renaming streets after our own heroes is a step towards honoring our true history. It's important that we remember the leaders who fought for our freedom and built our nation, not the colonizers who tried to control us.
Senegal is taking a bold step in reclaiming its history. A street once named after colonial figures are being renamed in honor of local heroes. And activists like Abdelaziz Ndao are pushing for a future that recognizes the true struggle for independence and national pride. Rama Anta believes this change is a step toward building a future that truly reflects the country's values and history.
Renaming this street is more than just a symbolic gesture. It's a tribute to those who played a pivotal role in our liberation. Lamine Gueye, among others, fought relentlessly for our independence and freedom. This move also aims to eradicate the remnants of colonialism that once enslaved our ancestors. By honoring these brave individuals, we reaffirm our commitment to preserving our heritage and continuing the struggle for true freedom and dignity.
The opposition party raises critical concerns about the government's initiative. with some viewing the renaming of the street as a political move rather than a genuine solution to the country's deeper problems.
Renaming the streets does not address the real challenges people are facing, such as unemployment, high cost of living. This is simply a way for the government to look like they are making progress while avoiding the tough issues that truly impact our daily lives. It is just populism, not real change.
As Senegal moves forward with renaming its streets, the debate continues. While some view it as a step forward reclaiming the nation's identity, others see it as a distraction for more urgent issues. Adapting to these new names could be challenging for the public. Only time would reveal the true impacts of this initiative on the country's future. Maimouna Ba, Africa Matters, Dakar, Senegal.
That's our show this week. Share your thoughts and suggestions about the stories you've seen on this episode or ideas on what you'd like us to cover on YouTube or on X using the hashtag Africa Matters. Thanks for watching, and it's goodbye from me, Brenda Radido.